And she's live. Hey there, it's Jessie here, and a big fat warm welcome to this little tiny live. Thank you for being here. Not that anybody's here, but if you watch the replay, hi. Okay, bit of a spontaneous one today, guys. And I tell you, I've been thinking, so I'm going to share my thoughts. Actually, what got me thinking was you guys. So I was going through some of the comments today from last week. And you guys really got me thinking. Can you hear that road out there? There's no way of me knowing. Somebody's just joined us. Hi, good morning. Can you tell me if you can hear the road? And if you can, I'll close the window. Just let me know if it's bothering. So you guys got me thinking. And a Portuguese expression. So I live in Portugal and I am, among other things, an English teacher. And one of my Portuguese students told me about an expression that they have here. It's so deep, it's insane. So the expression is this: Está só a olhar para o umbigo. Forgive my accent. Está só a olhar para o umbigo, which means they're only looking at their own belly button. Okay, which means the expression is used when you're talking about somebody who's being selfish and they only think of themselves. Okay, so an interpretation of somebody only thinking and acting for themselves is looking at their belly button. What is the belly button? It's the initial trauma, right? It's the first severance. It's the first wound that every human being, how we are initiated into this planet, is we are cut from the source. Bum, 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 ba-dum. All right, so it's got me thinking, what a deep expression. And how, life is inherently traumatic, right? Because we're in this womb and everything's warm and safe and like cozy, and you're like fed through your belly button continuously. And then out you come where it's like, wah, and that connection that gave you life and your little home gone. Welcome to the world. I do actually believe you join the world in here as well, in the womb, in the stomach, Jessie. You know, and things can affect you there. Oh boy, can they? You can be traumatized in the womb. I really believe that. But hey, this is like an initiation, isn't it? It's like welcome to Earth. You've arrived. And then, you know, and I've named this. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I've named this paradox of spirituality because I'm a little bit confused, guys. I'm in this sort of unknown space of like, what am I doing? Right? What am I doing? Because, okay, so we all have this initial trauma, right? And not everyone responds badly to that, right? It's quite a normal thing, you know, all the animals do it. But I had my own wounds like growing up, right? And then I've spent a lot of my adult life, most of my adult life, from the age of 27, tirelessly working to heal, right? Why do I have to heal? Because I had low self-worth. Why do I have low self-worth? Because things happened to me and I didn't know how any other way than to internalize it as I'm not good enough, you know, not to mention all of the stuff out there in our modern culture that is constantly reminding us as well and giving us the messaging that we're not good enough, right? So we're swimming upstream here. We are. But that's okay. So I'm like, right, so I've got to heal because I'm not happy. I realized I wasn't happy. I realized that I wasn't really happy. So it's like, why aren't I happy? So then I start delving back, right? And I start healing. And I start, no. But in a way, because somebody else mentioned this, thank you for your comment. Somebody else mentions like this sort of, some of us who are more susceptible to having low self-esteem are drawn to spirituality, right? Have you ever noticed that spiritual circles are full of traumatized people? Because people who aren't traumatized don't go to spirituality. They're just like, all right, if you need to sit in a circle for 3 hours, like, okay. They don't get it because they're not as sensitive as we are and they're not seeking answers. So, what are we doing? We're seeking the end of suffering. I don't feel good enough. So, I need to find out how to feel good enough. And it's such a fine line, right? Because I'll speak for myself. Jessie, speak for yourself. Then I've been spending so much trying to heal so I feel good enough. Right? I feel good enough. And it's a paradox, okay? Because it works and it keeps you stuck. So so let's use the recent analogy, right, of a man coughing in the room next door. Because another sort of like trap, I would say, in spirituality is like this we try to cultivate inner peace, right, by responding and not reacting to the world. Isn't that right? But it's a fine line, guys, because there is responding, but then there's also controlling reaction. And there's a difference there. So I'm talking about, right, the other day, this man who's like, oh, in the room next door. And it's bothering me. It's bothering my silence. Okay. And then it's like, and then I have this internal thing, all these different voices where it's like, Jessie, it's a natural urge. Jessie, he's just another human. Jessie, the world doesn't revolve around you. Jessie, you're okay to be angry. Jessie, it's okay to, you're sensitive to sound. Blah, blah, blah. So I have like the voices, all the different voices. And I'm like, which one do I listen to? And I talked about this in a video. And then a lot of people in the comments like to give advice, or say like, hey, have you thought about it like this? And I'm open. I'm open to all of this here. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes I do think, well, I sometimes, and it depends on who is commenting, but sometimes it's like, hey, do this. Like you're doing it wrong. You're doing life wrong. You're doing spirituality wrong. You have to just have no thought. Don't react. Like an inert piece of glass. That is an interesting reference point, but very personal. So pin it. And so I'm like, how do I, compassion. Maybe if I just had compassion for this man, his cough wouldn't annoy me, right? But what I realized when I'm trying to comment back, good morning, what I realized is some days a man can be coughing in the room next door and I don't even notice it. Other days, a man can be coughing in the room next door and it makes me laugh. And then there's days where the man's coughing next door and I want to rip my ears out and shove them down his throat. Now, which one is correct? Because they're all me, but they're just different reactions or responses, right? They're different things happen. Now, what do I do now? Because on the day where I don't even hear him, I don't need to choose. On the day where it's making me laugh, am I choosing to enjoy it? Or am I just in a good mood that day for some reason? On the day where I need to rip my ears out and shove them down his throat so he stops coughing, is that wrong? It might be wrong if I do it, okay? I'm not gonna do it. But for me I judge that, right? I judge myself on those days. I'm like, Jessie, you should be more tolerant. And it's like, hold up. Some days I am tolerant. And other days I'm intolerant. So actually, what is my response here? What is my response? It's not how the external thing triggers a response in me. It's how I respond to that, right? So if I'm on a day where I like, oh God, I need to rip my ears out and shove them down his throat, how do I respond to that thought? And you know what I've been doing for ages? Judging it. I'm like, that's not spiritual. That's not holy. Buddha wouldn't say that, you know? And here I am preaching for authenticity all the time and like, oh, and then I'm like, oh, these are up. I've got confused. I've got very confused. So on the days where I want to rip my ears out and shove them down his throat, and yes, I will keep saying that because it's satisfying. I'm not going to do it. There's the difference. So there's my response ability is, well, that's a crazy thought. Somebody's tired. Usually I'm just tired on those days or in my in the cycle somewhere, a little bit tetchy. It's usually what it is. After like day 2, I'm making a song in my head with his coughing, or like I'm making a bet with myself, like how many seconds is it going to be? I'll be like counting down, like, and a 3, 2, 1. And I'm having fun with it. So these are my thoughts today. Welcome. I'm going to go to the comment section and see what you're saying. I would call that obsessive neurosis. Thank you. Yes. Repressing the aggressive intention and focusing on the demand of the big other. Freud says religion is that. Good morning. Here for about 20 minutes. Great. Good morning. Afternoon. A cough and a cough. Correct for whom? Da-da-da, da-da. Okay, nice question. Correct for whom? I would say, well, there is no answer to that. It depends where we're speaking from. Okay, so if I'm speaking from Jessie, correct for Jessie. Like what in her moral universe is just and makes her feel good about the actions that she's taking, I would say, so I can sleep at night. So I've not got something playing on my mind or my conscience. Correct. But then what is correct for Jessie? Because little old Jessie is very, very wired to the whole, as in there isn't so much like separation for me in that, like, I know that it's like I know the effect that I have in the world that I live in. You know what I mean? Like it's I can't naturally behave selfishly, and this isn't completely true. There's parts of my life where I'm selfish, absolutely. But like generally, the way that I learned to survive when I was a young warthog was understanding that harmony in the field means survival, not personal. So I kind of attuned myself to have an awareness of the feelings of the other, right? So correct for me might be different for you, but correct for Jess is not just what she needs, but it's quite closely linked to what she presumes and projects the space needs. Wrong is such a worft. What's a worft? None of it is about him. It's always about you. It's all about you. It's all about you, baby. Exactly. He coughs. He coughs. He coughs. The man coughs. And I respond differently depending on my state of mind. Buddha said all kinds of inappropriate things, did he? I don't know actually a lot of Buddhist teachings. I don't. I'm taking like a very surface level, shallow take on quite a deep person, quite a prominent person in our history, huh? Even Jesus got a bad day. Yeah, of course. Like Sting said, of course. You can just observe your reaction without sticking to them. Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. But this is what I'm learning. Do you understand? I'm learning this right now because I have been judging myself. And I think a lot of people do this in the spiritual community. I do. I think a lot of people do this we are like driven because trauma motivates you, right? Trauma motivates all of us. That's how we get anything done. Not wholly, but like Trump, for example, very ambitious man, isn't he? controversial, I know, but ambitious and quite good at reaching his goals. You know, ambitious. Why? Deeply traumatized. That man's got something to prove. So trauma drives us. And so I think of my own, right? What drives me? What's my trauma? So I'm like, I need to be better. I need to have self worth. I need to feel good. I need to feel good. Everything is about feeling good, right? And I've been thinking about this recently, right? Because I'm a very emotional being, and people tell me that I'm too emotional, or they have too emotional, and I shouldn't spend so much time working with my emotions. And like sometimes you just got to get on with it, and be practical. Get on with what? Everything we do in life is to feel something, preferably good. Get on with it. Get on with it. Just get on with work. Why do you work? Hmm? Why do you work? For the money? Why do you need money? Oh, for food, for shelter. Why do you want those things? Oh, to survive. Oh, to feel good. You know, I need loads of money. Everything's about feelings. And I just need to say this because people are like, Jessie, you're too emotional. You spend too much time talking. No, 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 no. I'm just going where it all begins, right? Just get on with it. Get on with what? Everything you're doing is to feel good, right? Even if it's long term. I'm going to do this so then I can do this so then I can feel good. Well, right. Okay. I'm just talking about how I'm feeling right now. Right now. Oh my God. Slow mo. Slow mo. I see myself falling down a big. Oh, where am I going? No. Whoa. Don't know what's happening right now. Choose your life. Jessie, hi. Oh. I hated my ex-neighbor. Yeah, good for you. Enemies are fun, aren't they? Enemies are fun. Some years ago, we were spending Christmas with a family friend, and I must have been, it was before I went to India, so it was 2016, so 25-ish. And I hadn't like awakened my inner realm yet. Like I was still naive and surviving on my coping mechanisms and strategies that were working quite well at this point. And we were sat, and I was like very arrogant and full of myself. And we were sat at Christmas dinner, and he was talking about how he has this enemy in the village. And I was like, you have an enemy? And like I couldn't even conceive it. I was like, why? Why do you have an enemy? And I was kind of into like a bit of like spirituality at this point. I was a right knob. Oh my God, sorry, but like young 20-year-olds into spirituality. mm, just be careful, okay? And I'm speaking this from someone who was that. It's like, oh, it's so cringe. It's so cringe when I think back at it. Because when you're that age, you think like you know everything, right? And you're like, I'm an adult now, and like, I understand life. No, you flipping don't. No, we don't. Just hold your horses. Oof. I was like, oh, it's just a bit cringe when I think back at me at that age. So then I was all like love and light, right? A lot of love and light. And thinking, if you have an enemy, you're like, there's something like, oh, you're not doing it right. But he also introduced the concept of enemies into my realm. It lit up something inside of me where I think part of me was like, oh, that sounds fun. He was enjoying, I could see that he enjoyed to have an enemy. And it wasn't like serious, but they would sort of scowl at each other in the library and things like that. So then I go to India. Was it the first or the second time? I think it was the second time I go, and then I realized that I would start to make enemies where I went. And then I sort of like really got on the bandwagon of like, you know what? Who is it? Who says that quote of like, if you don't have any enemies, you're not doing it right? Who is that? Churchill? Am I quoting Churchill right now? Oh God. Anyway, actually don't quote me on that or him, because I don't know if that was anyway. I'm not one for specifics. I'm a generalist here, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Uh, oh, uh, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about enemies? Just that, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like it's all right. Maybe it's just all right. Oh, because your comment got me onto it. Do you ever experience misophoria, misophonia from other noises? People chewing, crunching, making repetitive sounds. Misophonia is somewhat biological, from what I understand. um, so I am like low key autistic and like sensitive. That's what I would say. So I have a sensitivity to sounds, but like, oh my god, people it's not the thing is, do you know what really grinds my gears is, this is completely off topic, but maybe it's relevant. Who knows? Is when you're eating with somebody and they're sat across and their food's hot and they blow to cool their food down, and then you feel it on your food. Has this ever happened to you? That 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 drives me up the fucking wall. You know, because there's ways you can blow, right? You can blow like this. You can blow down. You can blow down, or you can blow like this. People do this, and I'm sat there like, oh no, oh no, that's ruined my meal. And I used to get mad. I used to tell my sister not to do it, and then she'd get really upset that I'd say that. She's like, "Just, I'm just eating. Like, give me a break." And now when I'm sat with other people that do it, I'm like, I can't say anything because they're going to get upset with me. But like, they are blowing all over my food. Is that it? You only need to feel good because you don't feel good as a base layer. Oh, David, do you want to just piss off? Honestly, doing things to feel good is perpetual, never ending cycle. It's recognizing that actually you don't feel good that starts it. No, David, I'm going to disagree with you here and probably realize that you're right in half an hour when I'm crying. Why did you write that comment? Let's do this. Why did you write that comment? What motivated you to write that comment? Answer me that and we will go. If everyone likes you, you're probably not being authentic, right? Exactly. I think that's the thing. When you're okay with what is and don't need to add something to feel good, the game changes completely. Okay, but when you're okay with what is, because I think this is semantics. I think this is semantics because I'm talking about feeling good, but this is subtle and I feel misunderstood here. Okay, let me clarify. We are motivated as human beings to navigate towards good feelings. Okay, even spirituality and this understanding and this perspective that you're proposing is to have an acceptance with what is, which is what the same thing as what I'm arguing is to feel good. So there's semantics here because I think this is what's happening because it's like, yeah, just accept what is. Why would you do that? So you don't feel bad about what is, right? It's just another way to feel good. It's just different language. It's like I'm not talking about perpetually chasing a high. What I'm saying is like the experience of life is filled with feelings and most things we do are to have good ones. Now, it's not the case that we always have good ones. Believe me, I know. I know, but it's not that I don't have a baseline that's good. It's not that. I disagree. It's like I'm content, but I also need to survive, right? In the physical vessel. And we live in a system that means you need money to survive for the most part. Maybe some people don't. Oh, oh, somebody's coming in. Somebody's coming in. You gave us so much inspiration and thought. I know it will return to you brilliantly. Keep going. Thank you. David is on point. Rich people don't. What? When you're okay with what is and don't need to add something to feel good, the game. Yes, but I'm not saying. Okay. I think I've made myself clear, but have I? Because I'm not talking about needing something to feel good. It's like even this thought process of like, I could choose how to respond to the man coughing in the room is an attempt to feel okay with what is. Maybe we'll take out the word good. Maybe that's too loaded. I find this a lot. Is like words are so loaded. So even good is loaded with like, oh, but then you're crossing out anything that's bad. Well, you can feel good with feeling bad, you know? So maybe I'm using a different word than you. Maybe your word is acceptance. I'm listening on my break at work. Hey, that's cool. Hey, we're hanging out at your work break. Feeling good wasn't the motivation of the Buddha. Okay, what was the motivation of the Buddha? So my very basic understanding of the Buddha is he was a prince, right? And he wasn't allowed to leave the palace walls. And because his father believed him to be some kind of sage or prophet, he wanted to protect him and protect his innocence. So he didn't let him see any suffering his whole life, right? And then when he turned 18 and he left the palace gates, he saw all the suffering that was happening in the world. And it like mind fuck, you know, because he had a worldview that was this, and then it got shattered. And then he had to like figure that one out. So he went and sat under the tree until he could figure it out. And then he shared his teachings with the world to be like, hey, like is inevitable, and you can surpass suffering with the mind, right? You can surpass it with the mind. Why? So you don't suffer. Why? So you don't feel bad. To feel good. I think I'm simplifying it, but I think. Do you believe in free will? Yes, I am an advocate of free will. Yes, I do. And I'm leaving it there for now, but I might open that one up. That is a can of worms. If you do good things to make yourself feel good, are you actually doing good things for the sake of doing good things, or are you doing it for self fulfillment? Good question. What do you think? To know what is. To know what is. Nice silence. Oh, he's done it again. For me, good is contextual. So, yeah, it's too loaded. The word good is too loaded. I'm realizing this. If you hated the neighbor in that context, making him eat your ears was good. Prophecy said he would become either a monk or a ruler, so the father wanted to protect him from becoming monks because the father wanted him to take over the throne. Okay, I didn't know that nuance. Thank you. Open the can of worms. I'd love to continue, but my 20 minutes is up. I'll piss off now. All right, David, you piss off. Enough of you. Bye. See you next time. Funny, funny. It's not about feeling good, but about detachment from desire. Okay, okay. All right. So you see, thank you very much for these reflections, because it seems all we have is words to articulate our thoughts, isn't it? And they're so limited, just in the sense that they're so loaded. We have so many connotations when we hear a word of what it means that we end up arguing about that. If you're doing good things for self fulfillment, you're not doing something good. Um, okay, I'm on a different thread to you there. I really think I am, because I'm not talking about doing good things. I'm talking about like trying to respond correctly in my mind so I don't suffer. Now, this thing about, because the silence has been brought in and I know there's something here. You know, there is truth in this about, so I'm holding a knife. That's weird. I'll hold a spoon instead. um, People tell me even the way that I hold spoons is threatening. I've been told this before. I was holding a spatula once, and people were like responding weirdly. And I was like, why is everyone? And someone was like, you look like you're going to kill somebody with that. And I was like, I'm just holding a spatula. And then I went to the dinner lady, and I went to give it, and she went like that. And I was like, what is that? Somebody just told me I look like I'm trying to kill someone. She went, it's the way you're holding it. So just so you know, everybody, don't hold spatulas like this because it freaks people out. I'm not going to hit anyone with it. Oh. A lot of non-human, highly abstract people in this chat. Well, go figure. We're a bunch of weirdos in a good way. It's a good thing. The uncomfortable truths stop being uncomfortable. You will suffer. There is no correct. It's just a ride. Well, for me, it's like because I'm just like I'm sorry, everybody, but like I know it's like really like suffering is inevitable, but like what does suffer mean actually? Okay, because for me, and this is just my take on it, right? And this is just where I'm at in my development, and you're allowed to challenge me, you are. But for me, pain is inevitable. Pain inevitable. Yeah. Pull your ears off, it's gonna hurt. Yeah. Pain inevitable. Suffering. Mm, I don't know. And again, we're down to semantics. It's what do we mean by the word? Okay? Because you will get your heart broken. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you can live a human life and not get your heart broken. And it's painful. But do we suffer? Or is it just painful while we grieve? Attachment. Oh, God. We humans and attachment. It's my favorite thing about humans. Let's not take it away, right? Let's be healthy about it if we can. But like, attachment is a beautiful thing. I always think about this when elephants lose one of their tribe. They cry. Oh, isn't that just adorable? Elephants get attached. I think it's so I think it's I think it's one of my favorite things about humans, and it's the reason we suffer. So losing or breaking an attachment comes with pain, right? The same way as cutting off a finger, pain, losing something that we were attached to, right? We liked it there. We liked it there. Made us feel good. Feels like the music sounds better with you. So we lose a finger and there's pain, or we lose a loved one and there's pain. There's just a separation. Ouch. Suffering. Oh, don't know about that. Now, as somebody who's suffered a lot, okay, and even at one point in my journey, I asked somebody for advice. I was like, "You seem to have it all." So I said to her, "You're beautiful and you're young and you're wise and you have an amazing partner and you're very uh, like aligned, meaningful career at service to the world. And how do you do it?" I asked her, like, "How do you do this?" And she's like, "Well, I just do things that I enjoy and I try to surprise myself. Like, for example, if I'm on the beach and it's nighttime and it's really windy and cold, I might suddenly take all of my clothes off and go into the ocean just to feel alive. It doesn't feel comfortable, but it makes me feel alive. And so I just do stuff like that." And I was like, "Okay." And then she said, but then I said, "But I feel loyalty to my suffering." And I really, really did at this time. I feel loyal somehow to my suffering and everyone else who suffers. Like somehow if I choose to stop suffering, I'm leaving behind everyone who's suffering. I don't I like there's a loyalty there for me. And she was like, "Okay." In fact, her response was almost like it was like shocked. She seemed shocked. That's what got me, where she was like, "This woman is choosing suffering." That's what I read from her. Her reaction was like, "Oh my god, she's choosing it." Like even if I say you don't have to choose it, she's like, "Nope, I'm gonna choose it." And her response then was really what shifted out of that whole conversation. I was like, "I'm choosing it. I'm choosing suffering." Because why? Belonging, you know, most of us are choosing suffering. So, and I just want to belong in the tribe. Not anymore. This was like a few years ago, huh? This weekend was actually extraordinary. This was the same weekend that I absolutely accepted where I was at. I'm like, okay, I'm somebody who chooses suffering. I'm somebody who hasn't got my shit together. There's loads of stuff I don't know. I've been trying so hard, desperately, to like get out of this. And actually, I'm going to accept where I'm at. My life has changed slowly, but surely, painfully, but not through suffering. I just suffer a tiny bit when it comes to men in my life because I'm still working on the fatty wound. I'm actually doing really good. Last week was a big one, huh? It was a big one. But let's see how it plays out. I'm going to go back to the comments, see where you guys are at. Yeah, but can you like get down to the ground to remember you're just a human? Para llegar a Dios, hay que aprender a ser humano. Y para llegar a Dios, hay que aprender a ser, sorry, humano. But that means, that translates as to arrive at God, one must learn to be human. And yeah, detachment is just as beautiful. Ooh. Ooh. I've never thought about that before. I've never thought about detachment being beautiful. Oh. I think you're right. I've just never thought about it. Love is the suffering, pain is the losing them. Oh no, don't tell me that. I do not suffer in love. No, I don't. Love is not suffering. Disagree. Jessie's survey says, it sounds like you might experience misophonia. I do, and I'm likely neurodivergent too. This is it. Noises can make my skin feel odd. Yes, but telling off someone for making a natural noise doesn't help. No, it doesn't. I've learned. Thank you for life teaching me that I can't control the things around me. I just have to tolerate my skin crawling. I just have to tolerate the feeling of tiny spiders under my skin. I had a Hare Krishna girlfriend once. How was that? How was that? They're fun though. I'm sorry, but like I don't walk past a Hare Krishna group and not join in for at least one dance. Joy. Joy. But then I get bored and then I'm like, ugh. And then when I notice I'm like, ugh, I'm like, Jessie, leave. They're joyful. Just let them be joyful, for goodness sake. Irritating my hate. Okay, there's one more thing that I wanted to and land with, but it came in and then it went out again. It might have gone. It's gone. It's gone. How's work treating me? Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that I saw that. So I will use this space. In fact, today, should I make this commitment? Yes. I'm going to make a video on I might not upload it today though because I'm going to make a video on what a mirror session is, and I'm going to bring in some testimonials from people who have had them. So I'm going to share a little bit more info, so because that's going well and work's going well, and I'm going to keep offering this because I think it's my thing to offer to the world. It's a way I can be at service, and it's genuinely helping people in ways that I didn't comprehend that it could, and it's kind of out of my hands in that respect. I just sort of offer this space. So it's very fun. So if anyone's new or you've been thinking about it and you're like, ooh, then get in touch and I'm going to make a video about what it is and how I think it works, although it's absolutely in progress and in becoming of itself. So it will change probably and evolve and sharpen. Ooh, nice word. Oh, so works good. Thank you for asking. You can look on the link below how to book a mirror session. Next week, I go away for 2 weeks to the mountains. So maybe on the other side when I will be enlightened. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I was just thinking about the Buddha. Oh, love. Okay, hold up, because I like this. Love is often considered suffering because it forces us to be vulnerable, bringing our deepest fears, insecurities, and unresolved emotional traumas to the surface. It causes pain through the wrist. Yes, that I agree, but it's not love, is it? It's attachment. It's not love, it's attachment we're talking about. Love knows no bounds, knows no limit. It's a sensation, but it's just like familiar, like, oh, is this love? No, 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 no. That's the attachment that you learned from your parents or caregivers growing up. It's different. But they're very close, aren't they? Oh, aren't they close? Oh, don't they feel the same? So close, love and attachment. So attachment is suffering. And detachment can be beautiful too. Whoever said that? Oh, that's my food for thought today. Detachment can be beautiful too. Oh, oh God, I need to integrate that. Heartbreak, jealousy, and the inevitable need to sacrifice personal desires, creating intense emotional turmoil. Oh, it sounds like attachment to me. You ever watched podcast Buddha at the gas pump? It's so good. No, 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 no. Attachment is a form of love. Without some form of love for that person, you can't attach them. Absolutely, absolutely. They're close, they're close, they're close, they're close. Listen, it's like love for like, okay, so like there are different forms of love. This is true. And this is a very nuanced subject. I don't actually know if I'm like, well, I'm not qualified apart from being a human being with my own personal experiences. That's as far as I'm qualified for anything. Um, in this realm. But like love for a flower, for example, like I love flowers and trees and plants and things. And it's funny that I'm saying this because I actually felt a flower attach itself to me once. I'm not lying. I was like with this flower and I could feel it. I could feel this energy between us. And it was like, oh my God, is this I felt like this flower was falling. I was, like, falling in love with the flowers, very mutual at first, and then it was, like, good, and then I felt it, like it felt like it was attaching to me, and I was like, "This is weird," and I'm feeling guilty stepping away from a flower. Oh god, I'm gonna lose some of you here. Oh, never mind. I felt this flower attaching to me, and I was like, "This is a bit freaky, now I'm gonna have to go." I'll see you later, and I avoided that tree for a while. But that could be pure projection. Right, my darling, my 30 minutes is over. Have a great day. I also think it's time for me to go. I'm feeling it. Um, so let's just sort out I'm going to get it cut today. My hair. I need to do something on my hair, man. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for this wonderful discussion today. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to watch it back and like glean more from it. So, I hope you all have wonderful days, evenings, afternoons, nights, wherever you are. And sending you such a big hug and a big kiss. And remember, guys, all together now, we got this. Bye. Love you, love you, love you.